So you have 60,000 Rand in cash and you're looking at buying a car. In this video, we're going to have a look at, and we're going to do the sums. What would be better? What would be the more affordable car to buy if you were to keep it for 5 years, do 100,000 kilometers over those 5 years, and we thought, look, let's compare it to a W124 Mercedes. For argument's sake, the one I'm driving now, 200 W124 automatic, and let's compare it to the cheapest new car you can buy in South Africa at the moment, which is a Renault Kwid, which is 178,880 Rand or something like that. It's manual, it's 1 litre, so it should be significantly more economical. It's a new car, it comes with a service plan. The W124 is a 40-year-old car. So let's delve into those figures and let's see where we end up. Which is going to be the better in a total cost of ownership point of view over a period of 5 years doing 100,000 Ks. Enjoy the video. Okay, so a couple of assumptions just based on what I've been able to establish. Okay, the first is somebody who doesn't get a lot. I mean, I don't finance cars and stuff like that. If I were to go to the bank and try and get an interest rate, they're probably going to charge me prime plus 2, so 12.5% interest rate monthly. We're going to look at depreciation. I looked at trade values on the Kwid after 5 years with 100,000 Ks on. I looked at values of Mercedes' W124s and how they've increased over the years to figure out what depreciation would be there. What else? Insurance. I phoned Outsurance and see what they would give me as somebody with a good no-claim history. 58 years old, and what I would pay for comprehensive business use on a W124 Mercedes versus what I would pay for comprehensive business use on a Renault Kwid. And maintenance, I was very, very fair with that. The Kwid obviously has a 30,000 kilometer maintenance plan. W124 doesn't. And the maintenance calculation there was at an RMI approved garage for the period of 100,000 Ks on a W124, and whatever an RMI approved garage or Renault would charge for maintenance and tires and stuff like that outside of the motor plan, which expires after 30,000 Ks, so for the other 70,000 Ks. So those are the assumptions I made, and doing an average mileage for South African 20,000 Ks a year, and petrol being based at 28 Rand a litre. Joe's kindly let us have a look at this Kwid that he is currently servicing or working on, I think. And it's nice to do a quick comparison, because this is obviously what we're talking about in the video in terms of the cheapest car available in South Africa at the moment, which is a 1 litre 3-cylinder. It does come with aircon and ABS and airbags, pretty much like most 124s, in fact. You know, all the facelift 124s do have airbags as well, and the vast majority of them do have ABS as well. But just having a look, you know, having the two alongside each other, the 124 is a much more spacious car. This particular Kwid, I think, is 2 or 3 years old. But yeah, you can have a look inside. Not much to see. Built to a price, obviously, which is understandable. You know, all the plastics are very, very hard. I'm not particularly comfortable in here. It's got quite a rough idle, and obviously very, very little power. If you on the open road with this, you know, pushing on isn't going to be an option really. It does have aircon, as I said, 2 airbags, 5-speed manual. You open the back door, you can have a look inside there as well. You compare that. Goodness. Yeah. Joe's actually showing us on one of the other ones, which didn't have the door card on, how the metal actually flexes inside the door. Actually quite scary. Compare that to a W124. You know, you got leather, you got a lot of comfort. You got a lot of solidity. Plastics are obviously a very different proposition in here. The door closes properly. A lot more power. Get on the open road and drive anywhere without tiring out. So there are a few caveats. For example, safety. You know, obviously modern cars are a lot safer than older cars. But I think that applies more to, you know, if you take a modern Mercedes, a modern E-Class Mercedes, and you compare it to a W124, obviously the modern Mercedes is far safer. But few would argue that they'd rather be in a Kwid than a W124 in an accident around town. So yeah, I think in this particular case, I'd probably definitely rather trust the solidity of the W124 structure comparison to something like that. But just makes an interesting comparison. I mean, if you're looking at the two cars alongside each other, obviously very, very different. But the whole idea of this video was consumption. You know, people speak about consumption, and that's maybe the biggest negative about owning an old Mercedes. You know, you're going to be using 10, 11, 12, 13 litres, 100 Ks, as opposed to a potential of 4, 5 or 6 litres and something like that. And surely if that's the case, where a car's that much more economical, it's going to be a lot cheaper to run and own. So here we are at Bar and Barrel, having our beverage and lunch, as we do on a Friday. And let's look at those figures. So working on those assumptions of the interest rate, having that 60,000 Rand in cash to either buy a car or to put down as a deposit. So using those sort of sums, the purchase price on the Kwid is 178,880, less the 60,000 deposit. So you're financing, what does that work out to? You're financing a total of
110-ish.
118,800, putting the 60,000 deposit down, and then interest on that at 12.5% over a 5-year period is 41,593. Obviously on the W124 it doesn't play a factor, it's naught, there's no interest, there's no finance, and no monthly payment either. Okay, so total finance repayments, 160,473 on the Kwid over the period of 5 years. Total fuel, doing 100,000 kilometers at 28 Rand a litre, is 5,500 litres on a Kwid at 154,000 Rand. Maintenance, 35,000. As I said earlier, that's based on the Kwid comes with a 30,000 maintenance plan. Once it expires, that's what you're going to be spending on servicing and tyres and a clutch or whatever else needs to be done on it, up to 100,000 Ks. Assuming there's no major failure like a gearbox or an engine or something, but it does have a warranty of 5 years, so that should be covered by that sort of thing. Insurance, 1,100 Rand, 60 months is 66,000 Rand. So your total outflows over the 5-year period on a Kwid is 475,473. At the end of that 5-year period, that Kwid that you paid 178,000 Rand for has got a trade value of between 60 and 80,000 Rand. So for the purposes of this, I've put it at 70,000 Rand. So the net total cost of ownership for the Kwid over that period is 405,473 Rand in some sense. Okay, now looking at the 124 Mercedes, the deposit of 60,000 is obviously what you're going to be buying the car for, and 60,000 is a realistic price to buy a decent running W124, W202 or W210. You can get a really nice one. It's not going to be mint, but it's going to be in good running condition with a decent interior, decent body, good mechanically. Bella, we saw one yesterday on We Buy Cars, an E200. What was that going for? Under 60,000, it was 54. So you can certainly get a W124, a nice one that's capable of everyday use, one that's going to last you the 5 years, for 60 grand, and the same applies to W202 or W210. No finance repayments there, so no interest. Fuel significantly more. The Kwid used 5,500 litres. On the 200, I'm averaging about 12 litres per 100 Ks. Now, obviously a W202 or a W210 is going to use significantly less than that, but working on the basis of the 200 that I've got, the carb model, it uses 12 litres per 100 Ks. you're looking at 12,000 litres and 336,000 Rand, as opposed to 154,000 Rand on the Kwid over the 5-year 100,000 Rand period. Maintenance, I put at 35,000 Rand as well. It's a very realistic amount. It's going to cost me, doing a lot of the servicing and stuff myself, significantly less than that to do it. But I'm working on the basis of somebody that's taking it to an RMI approved garage and having it properly serviced, tires put on, you know, that sort of thing. Gearbox servicing, whatever is required, their brakes. Insurance, $550 a month, as opposed to the 1,100 of the Kwid. That's what I'm paying based on that value. Okay, so total outflows at the end of the 5-year period on the W124 is 464,000, as opposed to 475,000 on the Kwid. But when you factor in what the cars are actually worth at the end of the period, so at the end of the period on the Kwid it's worth 70,000 Rand. At the end of the period on the W124 it's worth 90,000. So the total cost of ownership on the Kwid over the period of 5 years, 100,000 Ks, is 405,473, and on the W124, 374,000, which is 31,473 Rand less. So the biggest things there, the biggest drivers, is the absence of a monthly installment, cheaper insurance, obviously, and that residual value, where your Kwid has gone from 178,000 Rand and you've paid finance charges on that. Your total cost there is what? I did have it here somewhere. Total cost of finance is 160,000. So not only have you lost your deposit, that Kwid is worth 70,000 Rand at the end of that 5-year period. Your W124, you've put the 60,000 Rand in, and at the end of the 5-year period, not only do you get your 60,000 Rand back, you get an additional 30,000 Rand above there. And that's the biggest difference. So if you look at it, you know, the argument can be made, yes, but because of the extra fuel and stuff, your cash flow on a monthly basis, you're spending so much more on fuel than you would on the Kwid. The cash flow is what's going to nail you. Well, that's also an interesting thing. And I ran those figures as well. So if you look at the average monthly fuel cost on a Kwid is 2,566 Rand and 67 cents. The W124 is 5,600 Rand, but the fixed monthly cost, so that's the installment, insurance, and the maintenance amortized over the period of 35,000, the Kwid is 4,357, and the W124 is 1,133. So you take those fixed monthly costs and you take the fuel costs and you compare it, and it puts the Kwid at a disadvantage of 3,224 Rand per month. So you're spending 3,224 Rand a month on your economical Kwid. You're spending that much more than you would on a W124 covering exactly the same distance, even though it uses significantly more fuel. And that's a very, very telling thing for me. It's very interesting. I wasn't expecting that. When I approached this whole video and I started running figures, I thought, you know, it's easy to compare it to an equivalent car, you know, a luxury car of today, a car that you could get in and do huge distances like you can in a 124. It's very easy to compare it to that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to take the cheapest new car that's very, very economical and compare it on that basis. And even when comparing it to that, the W124 comes out on top. And if you factor in another interesting thing, that's based on fuel consumption being, or the price of fuel being 28 Rand a litre. So now if you drop the price of fuel back to 22 Rand a litre, that difference becomes significantly more in the W124's favour. So at 22 Rand a litre, the cost of ownership of the 124 versus the Kwid over a 5-year period doing 100,000 Rand is 71,000 Rand cheaper, which is mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. So Bella, are you a Kwid owner?
No.
Are you intending to be a Kwid owner?
No.
Have a look inside. It's lovely, man.
I think for a lot of people it is nice, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really suit me.
Yeah. What don't you like about it?
I don't really like anything about it.
But you can save a fortune in
Yeah.
petrol.
Maybe if I was doing Uber, then I'd want one.
But there's no space.
Yeah.
Have a look at
Well,
the back.
For Uber, it's fine.
Have you jumped in the back of one of these for Uber?
Yeah.
Is it? You need a short-legged Uber driver.
Yeah.
Look,
But
everything
for that
to a
kind of
price.
thing, it's
Eh?
fine, yeah.
Yeah?
I think for that it's okay.
Okay, so from your point of view, even if this had turned out to be significantly cheaper than owning an old Mercedes, what would you have done?
I still wouldn't get it.
Worked a bit harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. And yeah, they're very common for car hire places.
Well, very
so if
common,
You're
and-
just going to Joburg and need a car to run around. It's nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, for car hire places, it's absolutely the right thing. For Uber drivers, possibly
Uber Eats.
Uber Eats, if you're doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But if you look, once again, you go through the actual figures and you look at what we've analysed, it's actually cheaper from every point of view to drive an old Mercedes than it is one of these. So it's that advantage of economy, fuel economy, is quickly offset against the general cost of ownership over a period of time.
Yeah.
Maintenance, insurance, the depreciation of these are horrible.
Yeah.
In comparison to a Mercedes that's more likely than not going to appreciate over the years of ownership if you look after it. So it's a very interesting video, and I think everything has its place. But comparing apples with apples, if you're looking at the actual figures that matter, the money in your pocket at the end of the 5-year period, and your money in the money in your pocket on a month-to-month basis. It's a very surprising outcome that an old Mercedes is actually the better bet from a financial point of view than something like this, which is not at all what I expected.
No,
Not at all what I expected.
that is surprising.
I mean, obviously the Mercedes has virtues other than that, but I mean that part of it turned out to be in favour of the Mercedes.
Yeah.
And we could have, and it applies to every Mercedes, we could have taken a far more economical Mercedes, a C180, a C250 diesel,
Yeah.
even a W210 with a multi-valve or M104. They're all going to be more economical than this W124 200. So yeah, very, very interesting. It's a car ownership, an interesting thing. And I mean, obviously, if you've got tons of money, you're going to be driving what you want to be driving. But for most people, I don't want to drive an expensive car. I don't want to spend money on a car. Nobody cares what you drive. You're the one that's going to sit in there. And if it's something that's comfortable and something that's reliable, that fits it for me. And if it's a Mercedes and it's ultra cool as well, an old Merc, even better. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video. And
Yeah, leave your thoughts on this in the comments.
yeah, please do. What do you think? What would you do? Just how surprised are you that it actually turns out that an old Mercedes is the right car to buy from a financial point of view and a running cost point of view in 2026?